News comes fast.
The recent peaceful holding of the Martyrs' Day, where an estimated 3 million people turned up, showed that the police and the UPDF already have full capacity.
Where do we belong? FFDC in the people's government, that's the West. Like, where are the positions and which are the positions in the national leadership of FDC, the people of West? Like, tell us.
Because there's actual corruption in Uganda, I think that first we need to start with children like you. I think studies on corruption should be part of the school curriculum so that children know that you do this, it is wrong. It's not accepted. Condemn it, name and shame. So I think we have a new generation that
This is the news on 102.1 River FM, the heartbeats of God.
In the news this morning, actually LC5 chairperson's request for relief food from government. EC discourages procession as campaigns for LC1 elections kick off. And West Africa signs of $25 billion mega gas pipeline plan. Good morning, this is Willie Max with the latest news on 104.1 Favor FM. The news now in detail. LC5 chairpersons from Acholi sub-region have unanimously requested government for relief food support to save the already starving population from further deaths. 15 deaths and 351 cases of severe malnutrition have been registered in Agago district, according to Wilson Otor, the LC5 chairperson of the said district. Oyet Sisto Chen, the LC5 chairperson of Lamore district, says 126 cases of malnutrition have been registered in the district. The chairperson, who addressed a joint press conference yesterday morning at Boma Hotel in Gulu City, asked government to urgently support the sub-region with food because the crops that were planted in the first season were destroyed by the long dry spell. They also urged government to support the population with seeds for planting in the second season. Alfred Akena, the chairperson of Acholi Local Government Leaders Forum, a group that brings together chairpersons from the 8 local governments in Acholi sub-region, says there is a low school attendance due to hunger. Tony Blair Tole, the chairperson of Kitgum District, says miscarriages and cases of babies being born underweight are on the rise due to the current hunger situation in the region. Meanwhile, Julius Achiregunya, the Gulu City mayor, says the city is experiencing rising cost of food items because of the long dry spell. A girls' changing house constructed by Fields of Dreams Uganda, a non-governmental organization, has been launched at Chopil Primary School in Unyama Sub-County in Gulu District. The house, that has a shower, beddings and counseling corner, is expected to provide a safe space for girls to manage hygiene during menstruation. Justin Kidega, the LC3 of Unyama Sub-County, says they will engage the district leadership to take up responsibility for sustainability of their changing house. Research indicates that about 23% of girls between 12 and 18 years of age drop out of school in Uganda after they start experiencing menstruation. This is mainly due to lack of sanitary pads, private changing facilities, and severe stigma. Police in Doglo district have detained a 19-year-old woman after her 1 year and 7 months old baby died after being attacked by safari hands. Claire Agao reportedly left the baby in the house alone and went to hang out at the discotheque in Dogolo Town Council on Sunday. Patrick Jim Okema, the North Geoga police spokesperson, says the baby's body was handed over to the family for burial after a post-mortem was conducted at the scene. Okema says preliminary investigations revealed that Agao has on many occasions been leaving the child who has a physical disability alone in order to go and hang out. He says police has preferred a charge of rash or negligence against the suspect. Campaigns for Local Council 1, LC1 chairperson and women council elections have officially commenced, with the Electoral Commission cautioning candidates against holding processions and engaging in hate speech. Campaigns for women council elections will run for 3 days, from Monday 20th to 22nd of July 2026, ahead of polling on the 23rd of July 2026. Meanwhile, campaigns for LC1 chairperson elections will last 8 days from 20th to 27th of July 2026. The Electoral Commission has directed that all campaign meetings and public rallies be conducted strictly between 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. on the designated campaign days. Campaign activities must also be confined to the candidate's respective village. Tolbert Musinguzi, the Central North Region Election Officer, urges all candidates to comply with Electoral Commission guidelines and maintain peace throughout the campaign period to avoid disqualification from the race. Musinguzi warns candidates against using hate speech and inflammatory campaign, saying such conduct could fuel violence within communities where the candidates and their families live. He further urges candidates to avoid organizing campaign processions, describing them as unnecessary for village-level elections where door-to-door campaigns can easily reach the voters. You are listening to the latest news on 104.1 Favor FM, presented by Willie Max Okello. In other news, one of Africa's most ambitious energy infrastructure projects has finally been signed off at the highest level, with West African leaders formally endorsing the long-awaited Nigeria-Morocco Atlantic gas pipeline. The vast 6,000-kilometer pipeline will run along the Atlantic coast of 14 African nations, carrying Nigerian gas to Morocco before linking into Europe's existing gas network via Spain. Construction is expected to begin in 2028 with a total estimated cost of 25 billion US dollar, which is equivalent to 92.5 trillion shillings. It signals a change from current models where gas is typically extracted from African nations, refined and processed abroad, then shipped back to African nations at 3 or 4 times the price, says energy expert and former Nigerian government advisor Charles Majomi. Majomi says that practice must end because it is a complete devaluation of the resource that is so fortunately endured in places like Nigeria and other countries in the African continent. In sports news, Gitara FC has confirmed the signing of active midfielder Nicolas Kasozi on a 2-year deal. Kasozi has been a journeyman in his career, playing for several clubs in and outside the country. From his days at Synergy FC, the combative midfielder has gone on to play for Sports Club Villa, KCCA FC, Express Chetume, and Gaddafi, now Entebbe UPPC. For the last 2 seasons, he has been playing his trade at Kagera Sugar in the Tanzania Premier League. Kasozi becomes the 5th player that Katara has signed, joining Martin Kiza, Minsi Diego Semugera, Jackson Sembotia, and Ghanaian defender Bonnie Christopher. The club is preparing to represent Uganda in this year's CAF Confederation Cup, with the preliminary round slated for September. And ending this news on Favor FM is a scripture that is chosen with so much care from the book of Hebrew at chapter 10, verse 23. This is what it says: "Let us hold fast the confession of our hope without wavering, for he who promised is very faithful." That's the news. Thank you very much indeed for joining us today. Good morning.
That was the news on 104.1.